Hello, thanks for joining us on Nationwide. I'm Ruth Aguele. The Vice President, Kashim Shettima, has resumed duty at the presidential villa. He reaffirms the Tinubu administration's commitment to good governance. Following the inauguration of President Bola Tinubu, Ado-Ekiti residents are calling on the new administration to embark on programs that will enhance development and improve the standard of living of the people. They stated this while reeling out their expectations from the new government. Tayo Osho will tell us more.
Since the conclusion of the 2023 general elections, Nigerians have been looking forward to the swearing of a new president and governors in some states. Although there is no inauguration in Ekiti State, as the state is one of the 8 states in the Federation with off-season governorship elections, the people are happy for a smooth transition of government. Some respondents believe that the antecedents of the new president, as former governor of Lagos State, has renewed their hope for a better Nigeria.
If we have a uniform platform where we buy dollars for businessmen like us, we'll be very happy and Nigeria will be better for it.
That everything will come down, especially rice and clothes, other things, everything in this Nigeria is too high.
Economic development, tackling insecurity and checking brain drain in all sectors top expectations of the people.
The area that this administration should be focusing on the youth development, inclusion of the youth, and to get the youth out of the street.
This will stop the mass rush of our youth to foreign countries.
It is a new dawn in Nigeria, and Nigerians are hopeful that the new government will herald development in all sectors of the nation's economy. In Ado-Ekiti, Tayo Osho, NTA.
Ebonyi State residents have appealed to President Bola Ahmed Tinubu to embark on policies and programs that will strengthen the peace and restore unity among all ethnic divide in the country. They stated this while speaking on their expectations from the newly inaugurated government. Kanayo Okoro reports.
Ngele Oruta Township Stadium, venue of the inauguration of the new government in Ebonyi State, was agog with people from different faiths. They have one thing in common: to see a new era where everyone matters. For them, the president should see the entire country as his constituency and work to engender peace that will translate to the progress of the country.
My expectation is that this administration will work towards the improvement of the security architecture of our country.
Youth empowerment, youth inclusiveness, and youth upliftment, because a lot of restiveness and crime-related things in the society are, attributed to lack of jobs. And when jobs are created, the youth will be fully engaged.
They further appealed for the total overhaul of health, education, power sectors, and empower the youth by creating an enabling environment that will make business to thrive, as that will reduce restiveness across the country.
The people of Nigeria, and indeed entire citizenry, does expect that the new administration from the federal to the states should tackle issues of insecurity, issue of human capital development, job creation, industrialization. And this is the only way to ensure that issues of restiveness, insecurity in the land.
I'm expecting them to invest in education and the youth, invest on entrepreneurs.
They expect the new president and governor to hit the ground running and do well to uphold those policies that will improve the living standard of Nigerians, as government is a continuum. In Abakaliki, Kana Yokoro, NTA News.
Traditional and religious leaders have pledged their support for the new administration, urging Nigerians to close ranks and place national interest above parochial interest. Mitari Ikban reports.
Really happy. We wish them a very successful tenure in office.
We need unity. We have gone through a lot in the political elections. Now it's over. Now it's the Nigerian project.
Royal fathers canvassed support for the new administration.
Let everybody give a space to the new administration to perform the miracle they did while he was governor of.
He's a man of integrity, a man that has all it takes.
We are here for supporting democracy in this country. I also believe that this government may surprise a lot of people. It is my hope and prayer that Nigerians will embrace this administration collectively, irrespective of party, irrespective of religion, irrespective of our tribes.
Pray for him, support him, because by the grace of God, he will be the best president in Nigeria history.
Clerics urge Nigerians to equally embrace the new government as God's will for the nation at this juncture of national life.
I believe that at this season, this is who God wants us to have. I believe that the love for our nation should be above everything else.
Not tribe, not religion, but about the country. With the new government comes renewed hope for fresh ideas and fresh strategies to deepen democracy and development in the country. Mitaire Ikben, NTA News.
Let's turn to the judiciary. The Presidential Election Petition Court has adjourned to 2nd June 2023 to hear the petition filed by Allied People's Movement. The adjournment is to enable parties in the petition obtain certified true copy of the Supreme Court's judgment delivered on the 26th of May 2023 and its effect on the APM petition, which borders on alleged double nomination of the Vice President Kashim Shettima. Wale Olanikbekun, SAN, counsel to Bola Ahmed Tinubu, drew the attention of the court to the judgment upon announcing appearances to commence hearing, saying the subject matter in the petition of Allied People's Movement has been decided upon by the Supreme Court. Austin Ayembe reports that both the petitioner and respondent's counsel agreed to apply to the Supreme Court to obtain certified true copy of the judgment before the next adjourned date. All right, let's join Adeola in Lagos. I'm sure she has reports on the expectations from this administration. Adeola.
Yes, Ruth, you're right. That is our first report. With the inauguration of Asiwaju Ahmed Tinubu as the new president of the country, a cross-section of Nigerians have expressed their views on areas of concerns the new administration should focus on to move the country forward. Joel Popola will give us the details.
Government is said to be continuum, and as the President Muhammadu Buhari-led administration bowed out after completion of 8 years tenure, Nigerians are expecting President Bola Tinubu's administration to focus on certain areas that will stimulate growth. They say declaring state of emergency in the power sector, reviewing interest rates and stabilizing the foreign exchange policy of the nation will boost Nigeria's economy.
He must be careful in making appointments by ensuring that he puts the right pegs in round holes and square pegs in square holes. Because if care is not taken, when you try to give consideration to political patronage, you may end up putting wrong people that are not qualified, competent, and intelligent enough to handle specific assignments because of politics.
He wants the new administration to please improve on the security of the nation.
Create more job opportunity in the areas of infrastructural development.
Many believe there are high hopes for a brighter future as the new administration takes over the mantle of leadership and pilots the affairs of the nation. In Lagos, Joel Pokbola, NTA News.
To produce efficient military logisticians with requisite skills that will enable operational strategies to be successful during peacekeeping missions in the ECOWAS region, the Nigerian Army College of Logistics and Management, in collaboration with ECOWAS, organized a 5-day training for officers and men, as well as representatives from ECOWAS member states. Larry Belei reports that the theme of the program is training on operational level logistics in ECOWAS peace support operation.
Effective logistics have always led to successful military operations. Bearing this in mind, the need to have a well-trained personnel that can deliver the needed logistical support in multidimensional peacekeeping operations has become imminent. Hence, the gathering of Army representatives from ECO states to brainstorm together. Declaring the training open, the Commandant Nigerian Army College of Logistics and Management, NARCOM, Major General Adekunle Adeyinka, states that the training is timely.
The need for the training is because it is not just enough to have the right capacities and the right resources on ground and in place, but also how do these three components work together?
With the demand for ECOWAS to step up the fight against terrorism, ECOWAS officer on peacekeeping and regional security, Danjuma Ako, says the training program will improve the level of professionalism of army logisticians.
That's why we have brought their logisticians in their own right from the region, and therefore we need to bring them together to understand the dynamics in terms of how the different militaries and also the civilians and the police conduct logistics support to ECOWAS peace support operations.
The training, the Army and ECO says that is a proactive means of getting ready for security challenges that might arise in the area. And one of the critical areas they have to look into is logistics, because logistics can make or mar any military operation. In Lagos, Larry Belei, NTA News.
And those are the stories from Lagos for now. Do not forget that you can still follow this news broadcast live on our website at nta.ng/live and on our other social media handles displayed on the screen for updates. There will be more news on Nationwide after this break with Ruth in Abuja. To stay.
Good to have you there. Well, as mothers of the nation who desire a better country, Nigerian women have expressed confidence that the new administration will improve welfare of the citizens. Well, this is the opinion of some of them who share their views with our correspondent, Ngozi Technique.
It is a new dawn for Nigeria with the mantra of renewed hope, and the women are hopefully projecting a future where they will be relevant in the scheme of things.
We expect peace. We expect there should be equity in all that they are going to be doing. We expect that economy will be revived.
I assure you that the president has a very powerful lady by his side, the wife. She is also a female chauvinist, just like me.
We want women to be given their rightful position.
Going by the campaign promises of the new administration, 35% affirmative action for women, they say, is a done deal.
I'm telling you, I have the hope that Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu will meet up with 35%. Baba has done very well.
I want to stand here and tell you that I'm 100% sure and have confidence on the First Lady, because she is the patron of the National Council for Women's Society.
A lot of women were phased out in the election. The surest way is to compensate them by giving them more appointments.
Applauding his predecessor for establishing women desks in some ministries, more are still expected.
In the past, we were even agitating for 35%, but presently we are saying 50% equal.
And with what we have seen already so far, we can see that this new government is ready to work with the women and the men on mostly equal capacity.
Ngozi Technique, NTA News.
The women are ready. Daudu Emirate Council in Kaduna State has organized a special Dobber in honor of former President Muhammadu Buhari for successfully serving the nation and humanity with truth and fairness to all. The Daudu, which is essentially about horse riding, brought together high-profile personalities, including past ministers, heads of agencies and traditional leaders. The Daudu Emirate Council appreciates the large turnout of friends of the Emirate. The former president, Muhammadu Buhari, later acknowledged cheers from the crowd for the honor done him by his people of Daudu and those from beyond. Prayers were offered for the continued health and strength of the former Nigerian leader. For the second arm of government to function better and effective, a bicameral system of legislature must be sustained in the country. These are the views of stakeholders at the first memorial lecture of Senator Ekpe Moriri Lamai held in Abuja. Let's get details from Muhammad Rabiu Ali.
From the First Republic, Nigeria's Senate has played a crucial position in shaping the nation's political landscape and policy framework.
The people should have established a distinction.
This lecture, organized by Lamai Foundation, was to x-ray the Nigerian Senate, the successes recorded and challenges from the First to Fourth Republic, vis-a-vis the contribution of late Senator Lamai in championing the national deliberation, effective legislation and representation.
The Senate is the think tank of the nation, because it is a lawmaking institution, and without lawmaking, the executive has no business, because the business of the executive is to implement what has been passed and accepted as law.
Chief Senator E.A. Lamai played his part during the First Republic. Since then, successive generations of senators have been playing their part. Even the incoming 10th National Assembly senators have their own role to play in nation building.
Other speakers corroborated, with some having the view of continued bicameral system of legislature, while others advised for the restructuring of the system.
We are going to be organizing this kind of series to interrogate the processes of governance through legislation.
Senator Ekpe Lamai was a First Republic senator from Isako Central of Edo State, who passed away on May 14, 2009. In Abuja, Muhammad Rabiu Ali, NTA News.
The West African Institute for Financial and Economic Management is building capacity of states' debt offices to adequately manage borrowings at the subnational levels. To this extent, it is deploying a tool called Debt Management Performance Assessment with support from the World Bank, designed to, among other things, build sound practices in debt management. Let's get more details from Leah Katung Babatunde.
The debate around Nigeria's debt profile has lingered over time, propelled by the current low levels of revenue being recorded for almost a decade. While debt management has been largely successful at the federal level, same cannot be said of the subnationals, as only 7 states completed the Subnational Debt Management Performance Assessments (DEMPAS) in 2019. The Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN, says debt managers must master the use of DEMPA assessment tools to proactively identify and address weak areas in debt management operations, especially in relation to the legal institutional framework, coordination with fiscal operations, and implementation of the debt strategy over time.
What we've seen largely is at the federal level, as a level of development, sophistication in terms of the DMOs and stuff. But at the state levels, you see that, deficiency in terms of capacity, in terms of transparency, in terms of the institutional framework that is required to package all this, and in most cases actually rely on the federal to do that.
Data from the Debt Management Office indicate that Nigeria's total debt stock was 46.25 trillion naira at the end of December 2022, with little or no sign of a near-term stabilization as global borrowing levels are expected to rise this year.
We are far below the threshold in terms of GDP. But then when you take it in terms of revenue, that is where the issue is. And specifically when you look at the repayment capacity, our revenue to GDP ratio is among the lowest in the world.
YFM is working with the Central Bank of Nigeria, the World Bank, and the Debt Management Office to improve debt management practices in the 36 states of the Federation and the FCT. In Abuja, Lekatung Babatunde, NTA News.
The fight against illegal bunkering has remained a challenge to Nigeria's economy, despite a huge security investment to contain the menace. Kinsley Amajiri reports that the activity equally has its negative consequences on health and the environment.
Illegal oil bunkering remains a challenge to Nigeria's economic growth amidst its attendant impact on environment and health of the people. Nigeria's security forces' efforts at combating this menace appears not to be yielding the desired result.
I can't fight this thing alone. This is devastating degradation, and the gas flaring and the hydrocarbon is very detrimental to our health.
Only recently, some criminal elements in attempt to siphon a multinational petroleum product pipeline resulted in a fire outbreak.
As you can see, this is our honey community that have turned to bitter community based on this activity.
It's happening in Ndele, it's happening in Iba, and some other places in the local government. So we have done all the advocacy we need to do. Government needs to come down heavily on those who do it.
While the Nigerian Navy fight from the maritime frontier, the NSCDC and the Nigerian Army have equally contributed their quota from the hinterland.
We know one major responsibility that has been put upon us is the fight against crude oil theft.
I warn them that we will not allow them to operate, that they do not have any hiding place here in River State.
Of concern to some is the alleged involvement of security personnel in aiding and abetting the crime. Keen observers want to see a deliberate action from various security high commands sanctioning erring personnel and in turn winning the loyalty and support from the populace by way of credible intelligence that will see to the end of this economic sabotage in the Niger Delta region. In Port Harcourt, Kingsley Amajiri, NTA News.
The Nigerian Navy Forward Operating Base Bonny has released and handed over a vessel and its crew members to the owner after payment of penalty and restitution, as well as public apology on print and electronic media to the federal government. Jenny Bassi reports.
In August last year, MT Heroic Idun vessel was arrested after a failed attempt to lift crude oil from Nigerian waters without clearance, raising false alarm that pirates were after it. Accordingly, they were prosecuted and the Federal High Court sitting in Port Harcourt ordered an out-of-court settlement after they pleaded guilty. Subsequently, its owners entered into a voluntary plea bargain agreement with the federal government. Having fulfilled the conditions to the satisfaction of the federal government, the vessel was released to its owner, Idun Maritime Limited, with the consent and approval of the federal government. Upon this development, maritime stakeholders and seafarers operating within Nigerian waters are warned to carefully conduct their operations and maritime-related activities within extant regulations.
The Nigerian Navy will not fail to bring to book those whose operation infringe on the provisions of the Suppression of Piracy and other Maritime-Related Offences Act and all associated maritime laws and conventions acceded to by the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
We are thankful to the Nigerian Navy and the people of Nigeria for treating us well and extremely professionally. And yes, we are aware of the arrangements between the Navy and the owners and the plea bargain agreement.
The Nigerian Navy has pledged to continue to work in synergy with other maritime law enforcement agencies to derive maximum benefits from its natural resources. Jenny Bassi, NTA News.
Reawakening the consciousness of Nigerians on the need to tolerate one another and harness the potential of each other for a collective benefit is one of the set goals of the National Orientation Agency and its partners. In a media briefing in Abuja, the agency and its partners unveiled ongoing collaborative efforts towards the reorientation of Nigerians on the need for inclusivity that will address all ethnic, religious and gender biases in line with the objectives of the National Festival of Tolerance and Peaceful Coexistence. Another focus of the initiative is to make citizens understand the climate change realities and the best ways to leverage on unity and diversity for a harmonious coexistence.
No nation can achieve any meaningful growth and development in an atmosphere of intolerance, tribal and religious biases. As individuals, we all are better ambassadors of ourselves, of our families, of the communities that we come from. Because without a peaceful atmosphere, full of peace and tolerance and patience, even the election itself could not have helped.
Therefore, the festival is essential to prime the minds of Nigerians annually on the need to respect, accept, and appreciate our diversity.
National Festival is a 5-year action plan to drive the United Nations initiative of 1996. The High Court of Osun State sitting in Osogbo has sentenced the owner of Hilton Hotel, Ile-Ife, Osun State, Raymond Adedoyin, and 2 of his staff to death by hanging over the murder of Timothy Adegoke, a postgraduate of Obafemi Awolowo University, Ile-Ife. The Chief Judge of Osun State, Justice Bola Adekbele Ojo, who gave the judgment, acquitted and discharged 3 other defendants in the case. Femi Afariogun reports.
Timothy Adegoke, a master's student of Obafemi Awolowo University, Ile-Ife, lodged at Hilton Hotel on 5th of November 2021 before his alleged murder and corpse dumped along Ife-Ede Road. After the prime suspect, Rahman Adedoyin, absconded, his father, who is the owner of the hotel, Raymond Adedoyin, and 6 other staff have been facing 18-count charge before a state high court sitting in Osogbo. Delivering judgment on the case, Justice Bola Adekbele Ojo found Adedoyin and 2 of his managers, Adeniyi Aderogba and Oyetunde Kazim, who assisted to dump the corpse of Timothy by the roadside, burnt the evidence and doctored the record to show that Timothy did not lodge in the hotel guilty of many charges. Justice Adekbele Ojo sentenced them to death by hanging, while they were also sentenced to serve different jail terms for other offenses committed. Oluwole Lawrence, Adebayo Kunle, and Magdalene Chifuna were freed by the court, having found not guilty.
So the 3 of them, including the 7 defendants, have been convicted for conspiracy to commit murder and murder. The late Timothy Adegoke did not die in vain.
Yeah, in line with the provisions of the law, we consult with our clients and take the necessary steps.
Part of the judgment was that Rahman Adedoyin, son of the hotel owner, be declared wanted by Interpol, while the hotel and the Hilux vehicle used to convey the corpse of Timothy Adegoke be forfeited to the state government. The court also ordered that the children of late Timothy Adegoke be placed under sponsorship of the 3 convicted estates up to university level. The 7th defendant, Adeshola Adedeji's sentence was adjourned till Wednesday, May 30, after the prosecuting counsel appealed to the judge to temper judgment with mercy, saying she played a vital role in making the case solvable. In Osogbo, Femi Afariogun, NTA News.
All right, let's take this break, and when we return, we'll join in Suleiman in Kaduna for more reports, so you stay tuned.
Thank you, Ruth, in Abuja, for joining with us here in Kaduna Network Center. First, people of Kaduna State have called on Governor Obasani to embark on policies and programs that will improve the living standard of the people of the state. They made the call while speaking on their expectations from the governor. Achari Maxwell reports.
It is the end of of an era and the beginning of a new dawn as Senator Obasani takes over the mantle of leadership in Kaduna State for the next political dispensation. Expectations are high as he is called upon to pay attention to security of lives and property, education, and the health sector.
It's a very big task. Then we pray to Almighty Allah that we will lead him and guide him to carry Kaduna State to the next level, inshallah.
Surely the people of Kaduna State, they are going to smile because he's a man for the people and of the people. We know his capability. We know what he has done in the House of, in the Senate. We know the kind of bills he has passed. We know all the development he has brought into Kaduna. We are hoping that he will do better.
They should concentrate on the economy, job creation, and security as well.
Our expectations were just for them to stick to their mandate. They don't even have to do anything more, but they should please keep their promises.
They call on the good people of Kaduna State to support the Obasani administration so he can serve the people and deliver on his mandate in the days ahead. Achari Maxwell, NTA News.
Meanwhile, the Kaduna State Governor Obasani has promised to hit the ground running with the provision of accelerated rural development projects to communities in the 23 local government areas of the state. Muhammad Umar Ajingi reports that the governor made the promise at a dinner in his honor.
It is a dinner to honor the governor and his deputy Hadiza Balawi. Dignitaries, including his colleagues from the National Assembly and the Emir of Zazzau, are present.
Kaduna State is very, very good to have you as a leaders that will take us for the next 4 years.
Then the governor expressed his satisfaction for the support by the people of Kaduna State.
I will not fail you. I will be the governor of all citizens of Kaduna State. I will be fair and just in my actions. I will be a listening governor, inshallah. The welfare and security of the people will be my topmost priority. I will emphasize on the development of the rural areas.
Amidst excitement, the governor, Obasani, and his wife received gifts from the invited guests. In Kaduna, I am Muhammad Umar Ajingi, NTA News.
That report is back to you, Ruth, in Abuja. Good afternoon.
Thank you, Suleiman. Good to see you. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has again been advised to assemble a think tank that will advance short and long-term critical policy initiatives for the country. Discussing President Tinubu's inaugural address on NTA's Good Morning Nigeria, a variety of experts emphasized the need for the new administration to invest in peace building and address grievances immediately in order to have a smooth government. Ekemini Williams reports.
Bola Ahmed Tinubu took the oath of office as president yesterday with a pledge to be a president for all, irrespective of circumstances of history or political difference. He unveiled his administration's blueprints and vowed to defend the country from terror and criminality. The president also promised an end to the fuel subsidy, a decision which has generated a ripple effect across the country. Experts on the program say the blueprint unveiled by President Tinubu has rekindled hope for a better Nigeria, but must have short and long-term implementation plans.
By saying that fuel subsidy is over, the next hour, people are already reacting to that policy statement. So I do hope that he will take a very big lesson from this, that before governments make policy statements, before top political leaders say anything, they have to weigh the consequences at all levels. What have I put in place as a deterrence mechanism to some of these actions?
They decried the polarization and radicalization of the country along ethnic, religious, and political lines and advised the new government to bring together think tanks from all geopolitical zones and groups to develop an engagement strategy to address these issues. They also suggested public engagement and revisiting previous policy recommendations on how to address the grassroots challenges in the country.
We have to tap from all available resources, including the very humongous and big documents, 670 pages with recommendations that came from that national conference.
Ensure that you have a cabinet in place immediately as soon as it is feasible to do that. You also have your key, what you call the kitchen cabinet, in place, component of the society is touched. When I say component, I am talking about all the ethnic areas that you'll be looking at, the regional areas, then you're looking at all the religious areas, but you have to touch other areas. I mean, we have experts in everywhere. You know, Nigerians are experts.
The experts were optimistic that President Tinubu will address the worries of patriotic Nigerians. In Abuja, Ekemini Williams, NTA News.
Stakeholders are optimistic that the health recommendation, when implemented, will address the issues of brain drain and welfare of professionals in the sector. This was made known during the inauguration of the Nursing and Midwifery Council's headquarters in Abuja. Salwal Khalil Ibrahim reports.
The Health Sector Reform Committee recently submitted its report and recommendations on the welfare of health workers. At the inauguration of the Nursing and Midwifery Registration Council's complex, these issues and other challenges affecting the health sector in Nigeria were the focus of discussion.
Nursing has been taken to greater heights, and we are looking forward to greater and lofty heights for the Nursing and Midwifery Council.
To ensure that nurses and midwives provide safe, effective, and efficient care at all levels of healthcare delivery.
The environment is conducive, and I assure you, nurses will be able to deliver, be able to provide the best quality, and will be able to produce the best nurses that can work anywhere, not only in Nigeria but globally.
Federal government says it is not unmindful of the plight of health workers in the country and has made it top priority.
For us to do this, it's not only federal government, because that is a concurrent list. The state governments are responsible for secondary and primary health care. The sub-national level government, therefore, have to do more to health in terms of resource allocation and in terms of doing more for health.
The three-story complex will serve as an administrative headquarters of the council. Salwa Khalil, NTA News.
The National Drug Law Enforcement Agency has busted a lethal fentanyl drug syndicate in Anambra State. 2 members of the syndicate have been arrested, and a significant quantity of the highly potent opiate drug was seized. The agency says it is determined to track down all the individuals involved in dangerous trade. We'll take one more break. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back. There are chances for improved inclusive education in Nigeria as education stakeholders in Cross River State begin the process of formulating an inclusive education policy plan guide for the state. This was at a one-day technical support training on inclusive education championed by the Joint National Association of Persons with Disabilities in partnership with USAID. Maureen Leo Ajom reports.
Nigeria is a signatory to the Convention on Rights of Persons with Disabilities, and the National Policy on Education provides that all schools must be inclusive and accessible to all persons, including those with disabilities. That is, people with disabilities should have access to qualitative, functional, and effective basic education, even higher education. However, this national policy on education is far from being met, giving rise for the formulation of National Inclusive Education Plan. To drive the process in states, 5 states in the 6 geopolitical zones of the Federation are to implement the Strengthening Civic Advocacy and Local Engagement Project scale, with Cross River State in the South-South zone.
You know, prior to this time, there have been vocational education, where they just feel that person with disability should just be put in one colony to learn a trade. But presently, they are looking at inclusive education, where we integrate person with disability with the able one in secular school.
We are lacking behind in special education. There are no provision for special students to study among themselves. So I am appealing to the government and the NGOs to see how they can improve.
If we truly want inclusive education, our curriculum has to be universal. It has to be differentiated in form in a way that it will accommodate all learners.
The school's inclusive education policy plan is expected to incorporate welfare, curriculum and budget reallocation for inclusive education in Cross River State. In Calabar, Maureen Leo Ajom, NTA News.
From the legislature, where senators passed the Independent Corrupt Practices and Other Related Offences Commission Act amended bill, which seeks, among other issues, to empower the commission to prosecute cases at the Federal High Court. National Assembly correspondent Ignatius Nkwo reports that Senate has approved the reimbursement of 16.7 billion naira to Borno State for federal government road projects carried out by the state.
Plenary commenced with President of the Senate Ahmad Lawan delivering congratulatory message to President Bola Tinubu, Vice President Kashim Shettima, and 28 state governors sworn in on Monday.
We pray for Almighty God to guide them and protect them, and our nation needs both the federal and the sub-nationals to work together for us to achieve any meaningful and sustainable development.
Senate passed the ICPC Act Amendment Bill, which seeks to strengthen the Commission, align its provisions with the Constitution, clear ambiguities, and provide for shared responsibility for a quicker service delivery, as it approved a jail term of 2 years for any person found guilty of false petition.
If you say 10 million, 20 million, the havoc that will be caused, somebody can give that kind of money, go and pay. But if you know that you'll be going to prison for 2 years or something, you will think twice.
Senator Beta Piafi made observations on why some sections should not be altered.
How can ICPC define abuse of process or procedure if, for instance, the Auditor General of the Federation has not audited that agency?
The bill that seeks to establish the Elite Sheriff Corps, sponsored by Senator Alim Dume, passed second reading. Senate approved the report of Itadel Committee on the Niger Delta Development Commission, which recommended, among other issues, to enforce timeline for the submission of the Commission's annual budget and approved its 2021 and 2022 budget. Chief Whip of the Senate, Oji Uzo Kalu, has described the swearing-in of Bola Tinubu and Kashim Shettima as a good sign for Nigeria. He urged the new government to pay critical attention, especially to security and reduction in the cost of governance.
Some of the ministries and parastatals are no longer viable. If I'm issue, something like Ministry of Niger Delta, some of those ministries are no longer viable to be ministries. We have ADDC, like we have the Northeast Development Commission, they have no ministry.
The Chief Whip also announced that he and the former governor of Zamfara State, Senator-elect Abdulaziz Yari, are in consultation to ensure a better leadership in the 10th Senate. From the National Assembly, Ignatius Nkwo, NTA News.
President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has resumed duty at the presidential villa in Abuja, having been sworn in yesterday. We'll bring you full details of this in subsequent bulletins. But right now, we have to go on this break. Please stay tuned. We're glad you're there. The reputation of Aba as one of the cities with the largest concentration of micro, small and medium-scale enterprises in West Africa has been proved not to be by accident. It was acquired by a long-standing display of ingenuity that has snowballed into the manufacture of local products for export. Benson Osadebe reports that this commercial hub of Abia State in southeast Nigeria has, through a dint of hard work by thousands of artisans, carved a niche in finished leather products and textile materials with global competitive advantage. We hear. Let's see that.
About the commercial city of Abia State prides itself as the Japan of Africa and a creativity hub in Nigeria. This is believed to have come through the ingenuity of its artisans, which has endeared it to investors within and outside the country. Made in Aba products, including leather and textile materials, are capturing international attention.
Actually exports. I have some clients. I have someone in New York I signed to. I recently made a back patch used for an NGO, about 400 pieces. I have another client in Austria too that I also signed pieces.
I'm coming from Benin. We are trying in terms of work because
even China, they are not doing what we are doing. So I'm really happy the way they are doing. Their work, if you buy it, will last even more than the China.
The shoes section of the Arara International Market is a testimony to the ingenuity and enterprising spirit of the people as they turn out stunning pieces with their dexterity. Ranked among Nigeria's economically buoyant cities because of its volume of trading activities, experts believe that the leather and textile industries remain the game changer in the economy and the industrial profile of the state. The influx of people from other West African states and beyond in search of made-in-Aba shoes and textiles, observers noted, is an acknowledgement of standard quality.
We are telling them that we are doing a quality shoe in Aba. That is why we are changing them, and I can do my shoe with my own name.
Despite the gains of their entrepreneurial exploit, they have challenges from irregular power supply to environmental condition, obsolete equipment and phones.
We really need machines to perfect what we do. Then finances, because we are always trying to get better and we are trying to be able to compete with the international market.
They say they look forward to the day relevant authorities will intervene to address the challenges for optimum productivity. In Aba, Benson Osadebe, NTA News.
Now you know. All right, let's do sports update. That's next.
Flying Eagles' target remains the Under-20 World Cup trophy, but first they must neutralize Argentina's home support and firepower in Wednesday's clash with the host of the tournament. In one of the round of 16 matches, Argentina won all their group matches, scored 10 goals and conceded 1, while Flying Eagles scored 4 goals and conceded 3.
So it's going to be very, very dicey, and it's going to take something extra from Ladamboso's men to get a win against the Argentines.
Football is not mathematics, but my expectation, and I do not want Nigeria expectation to be higher than expected.
Although the game will be played in Argentina's home, but I don't think there's any reason why our boys won't come back victorious. My expectations are really high and I'm rooting for them.
Back home in Africa, the stage is set for the semi-final matches of the ongoing Under-20 Wafubi Nations Cup in Ghana at the Babayara Stadium on Wednesday. Nigeria is up against the Benin Republic, while Ghana takes on Burkina Faso. The Nigerian girls are poised to rule Africa again. In boxing, the organizers of the 127th edition of the Lagos Boxing Show paid more attention to the younger ones. A total of 10 bouts featured in different weight category at the Teslim Balogun Stadium. The junior bouts were for exhibition. This was aimed at catching them young and giving them the necessary exposure.
Go to the 57 local government. There are a lot of coming up boxers that need help.
They competed keenly, showing prospects of becoming future champions. With sports update, Olumide Guntola, NTA News.
That's nationwide. We do appreciate your company. I'm Ruth Aguele. Do have a beautiful evening. Bye.